All right, we're gonna go over, if you have your windows in your trailer and you don't want to take them out, but you have these Jalousie style windows. This one I put on and I didn't realize that it hadn't been refurbished yet, so I'm not gonna take it off the trailer, but here are some signs. So this particular one, I did put on this piece of trim right here across the whole thing because it was short, but then I didn't realize till it was too late that, well, you really can't see in there, but there's little pucks that go inside these spots here, and they're all bad. You can kind of tell in your windows. So if you go to your windows, and can you see that movement at all? You know, and some of them move. It's because those little pucks that are inside here are hardened. Maybe here you can see on this one, there's one of the pucks there. There's one there, and I can tell just by looking at these that they're all hardened and crispy. So let's see this side real quick. They have some movement in them. You really can't see it much, but that's too much movement on these. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set up a tripod. I have to crank open this window and then take out all the glass, replace those parts, and then put it back in. So that's what I'm gonna try to see if I can capture on a video for you. We'll be right back. All right, so as you can see, I went inside real quick, opened up this side of the window. I'll do the other side off camera. But this, what I wanted you to see is inside here, you have these little pucks. Let me grab my little tool here. So you can see these pucks, they're hard or missing. You can just tell that these are old. And so what I'm gonna do is try to record this. I don't know how it's gonna work because I'm by myself and I'm trying to do tripod work so I can use my hands. But pretty much we're gonna work these off. Let's see if I can just show you here real quick. And be careful when you're working with the glass, because the glass, if you hit any glass on the edge that's not been cleaned like this, it will break. So what I'm gonna end up doing, let's see if I can do it on the bottom one here, is there's tabs that hold this. I'm gonna put my screwdriver in here, or actually I'm using a brake tool, and I'm just gonna twist it, and you'll see the tab. See, I don't know if you saw that. So now you can see there's room under here where the tab used to be. You take out both sides and that's how the glass drops off. So you won't get too much of a close-up on this, but I'll try my best. All right, so here we go. So I just did this bottom one, and I would just do them one at a time. Just make sure you don't let the glass drop out. Once that's off, sorry, what I needed to do is first push this puck out over here, and the glass just slides off. This particular one, they had these trims. I'm not going to reinstall those because I don't personally think they work the best. And then we're just going to keep going. So I'll show you one here real quick, since this one's right here. So this is the puck, what it is. And then this one here is what it's supposed to be. This one's pliable, this one's crispy, just so you can see that. And if you did break a piece of glass, all I would suggest to do is go to a glass place, take out a different pane that isn't broken, bring in one that, you know, the broken one if you want to, but if you bring them one that is not broken and just tell them you need another pane that same size, they'll just make it. All right, so I'll be back real quick. So I wanted to show real quick is, now they're all off. These are the tabs that the puck sits on. So when you look at them, what you want to do is, like this one here, you can see is pretty straight when you put the glass in there. What I would suggest doing, or this is what I do, is take up pliers, a needle nose, grab that tab, bend it down just a little bit more. That way when you put the glass in, you're able to put the puck in pretty easily. That one's okay, I guess. I have done a video on repairing these things or working on them. Another thing to make sure and watch for is, yeah, you can see like this one. So if your Jalousie windows are not working super smooth, it's gonna be hard to show kind of on video, but you're looking for, let me grab my tool again. This piece here, this edge on this one, you know, on all of these, what you want to look for is to make sure that this is straight, because when this piece comes down, it has to go against this edge. So you want to make sure, if you do have, like to me, this one here is sticking out. What I would do, you know, I grab my pliers and I just twist it a little bit, just to make sure that this edge, this little one right here, is at least straight, if not in just a little bit. So when you close your window, it should be pretty easy. So this is the other side, the non-operating side. And you can see it's pretty simple. Let me back that up a little bit. And it works pretty easy. Then you take your cranker, and it should crank really easy without the glass in there. You know, and everything looks nice, everything looks in line. Crank it back open. If at this point you're cranking your window and it does not work easily, then what I'm gonna say is this edge of this is it's not clear in there. And you can tell by looking at these outside edges. Let's see if I can get a better view here for you. There's not much scuffing on here, so you can tell they're not really rubbing. So we'll see if I can get a good video of putting these back in. So this is what I'm using. These are the pucks. You get them from a couple suppliers. I like to use a brake tool to twist these down when the glass is in. And then once I put them back in, I like this pliers because it's not flat all the way across. It's kind of got the pinchers on the end. So what we'll do is when the puck is in there, I will grab here and here, and I'll just do this here now and I'll fix this, but you'll just squeeze this into the puck. And then when it's up like that and the puck's in there, it makes everything tight, and that's what makes your glass not fall out. So we'll be right back. All right, we're good to go. At this point, you can clean your glass. I'm actually gonna clean them when they're back on the trailer, just because I need to get moving on this. And so I keep 2 of the pucks on hand, and start at the top and work your way down. So hopefully, we'll see if this one makes it in view or not. All right, let me do a close-up real quick. So here's what I'm talking about. This is the one we just put the pucks in. And as you can see, well, here's the other ones. You can see the new pucks in there. So this one's in, and as you can tell right there, a little bit, it's not all the way against the back. So what I'll do is I'll take my tool and I'll just push it just so it's snug all the way back. This one over here, same way. You can see the space between there. You want to push it till it's all the way back. So then we'll see if I can get a shot of this. So when these are in, what I'm doing is I'm taking my channel locks. You can use a regular pliers. I wouldn't recommend a needle nose, it won't work. And a little on top. Make sure you're on the metal, not the glass. In there. And I just squeeze it, and you can see the squish that happened on the rubber gasket. Let's see, let me switch hands here real quick. And so there is, and you can see now that's been squished. And then what I'll do is, because if you look back here, this still has some wiggle room in the back. I'm gonna this thin piece right here, I'm gonna use my pliers and do the same thing. I'm gonna close that gap with them. Sorry. You can see how that pushed up against it. And same way. And now when that's there, you can see in the back, there's no more wiggle. That piece of glass is secure. So let me put this back on the tripod and I'll install the rest of them real quick. All right, here we go. we'll get the rest of them installed real quick. So I have to squeeze the back of this last pane, but since there's no room for me to get my hand in here, that you can do from inside the trailer and just give it a quick squeeze. So I will do that, and then I'll come and do a little bit of close-up of what we've done. All right, so this is the window that I just said I was gonna work on. So you can see from the back side, all these little metal tabs. That's why I like to squeeze those. So, well, I can't show you the other one right now, but you can see they're all up in the glass. If you don't squeeze those, this little tab is usually flush with the glass down here, and these tabs keep the glass forward and prevent it when these are closed from bouncing up and moving during travel. So now, since we're inside, let's see, this should work pretty easily. And you can see everything's working. All the tabs are in, everything's tight. So this was a good window install or repair. So this is something that you can do on your trailer installed. Of course, if you're doing any other work, it is easier to do this work with your windows on a workbench than it is in the trailer, because you wouldn't have to worry about the glass falling out if that's the case. So just be cautious. And let's see from, let me just close this real quick. Go around to the outside, and you can see everything's on minus the glass isn't clean. I'm going to clean that right now, and you can see the gaskets are in there, and it should be good. You know, everything's nice, tight. You can see the new pucks all being squished into place, holding the window, the glass. I don't have any movement. I mean, it is a trailer, you know, so there is movement, but you don't want your panes of glass moving freely compared to this side where you have movements. I know, like, again, I know they're hard to see, but there are movements in here. So that would be the difference. And like I said, these on top of this backside was an old piece of gasket, which they do sell. I just don't think that it does enough. I think the glass seals as good as it can as a Jalousie window. Since you are glass to glass, obviously you will never be super tight, but you can get it pretty close with new seals and gaskets in place. All right, so you can see there's the window we just did. I just replaced all the pucks in this one, and I crimped a couple. Can I zoom this? Yes. So you can see on those first two, I've already squeezed the back onto the glass. And here's why. You see these other ones, you see like the gap that's in them, and see if I can focus up better, and how it just looks like that. So like I said, I would just come behind them. I will with my channel locks. Let's see, which one am I on? This one here. And I give it a squeeze, and you can see how that went up. And then now that tab is on the glass. That's pretty much all you're gonna do from, sorry, I gotta back up so it stays in focus. But that's it. Let me see if I can do some left-handed. So like this one here, you can see is pretty far off. If you don't squeeze these, that's what you get when you put your windows in. And you know, squeezing them up gets the glass tight, gets that to hold it really good. So I just wanted to show that real quick. We'll be back. All right, so here's the final product. Windows have been cleaned inside and out. All the parts have been redone. The pucks are in place. It's all solid. And you know, I just thought maybe you'd like to see it. So real quick, if you do get stuff on your glass, you know, use your glass cleaner. I use a fine steel wool sometimes. Whatever you can do to get the crud off, razor blade scraping it. I use a flat blade to scrape on the windows, the pucks. This is what I use, my little brake tool. And then, not selling any products, I use that glass cleaner. It doesn't matter. Glass cleaner is good, and it just cleans up your windows, and that is what you end up with. So that probably took me about 45 minutes to do this all, including the video time. So this is something you can easily do in your driveway, especially if you're doing one window or a smaller window. It should only take you about 20 minutes and you don't have to take your windows off, which is a pretty cool feature. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Look for my other videos.